Hello students. Today we are going to discuss the causes of the Great Depression. We know that the depression that started in USA from in 1929 and lasted till the beginning of the Second World War in 1939 is called the Great Depression. It is called the Great Depression because the world had never seen anything like that before 1929 or hasn't seen anything after 1929, because such was the economic destruction that happened due to the Great Depression, especially in USA and other nations around the world, that it is unparalleled in human history, at least in modern history, because this economic interlinkage is a modern concept, and in ancient times it could not have happened. But anyway, in the last few centuries, such economic destruction did not take place anywhere in the world, so it is called the Great Depression. And there are many different opinions with regard to the causes of the Great Depression. The different schools of thought as well as the different economists who gave different explanations based on the idea which they subscribe. So here we are going to discuss 10 of the most popular causes that are attributed to the origin of Great Depression. And the first one, of course, is the tight monetary policy followed by the Federal Reserve. We know that Federal Reserve is the central bank of USA, and it had come to existence just a couple of decades before the Great Depression, and it was formed with the intention of balancing or maintaining adequate supply of money and regulating the supply of money in the economy. And during the Great Depression from 1929 onwards, Federal Reserve followed a tight monetary policy. It was followed because of different reasons. We know that during a depression or a recession, usually the central banks liberalize their monetary policy and allow substantial amount of credit to the financial system as well as to the economic agents. But unfortunately, during the Great Depression, the Federal Reserve was not really in a position to loosen its purse, and hence it followed a tight monetary policy. There was many reasons. One of them was the external value of the dollar being under threat, and so because of these reasons, Federal Reserve did not follow a loose monetary policy. So this was one of the most important reasons that led to the Great Depression. And of course, we know it only from hindsight. And at that point of time, nobody knew that such a tight monetary policy could wreak havoc with the economy. And the second reason attributed by many economists is the speculative attack that was mounted on the US dollar. So this Great Depression actually originated in USA and spread to other world. So the most of the factors that led to the emergence of the Great Depression will be related to US economy, and the severity of the depression was also felt by the US economy, and therefore these reasons that we are narrating will be based on the US economic system. So in the 1920s, after the Great Depression started, there was a speculative attack on dollar. Why there was a speculative attack on dollar? Because at that point of time, most of the nations were following a kind of gold parity system in their exchange rate. Gold was freely convertible, means currency was freely convertible into dollar, means gold. And so once this depression started and financial system began to collapse, people lost their confidence on the financial system and began to accumulate gold on a large scale, because even as now even now people think gold to be the safest asset, and whenever there is a crisis in the economic system they rush to buy more gold or rush to accumulate more gold. And this happened in the 1929 also. In 1929 also, once the financial system began to feel the heat of the depression, people began to accumulate gold in exchange for dollar, and dollar began to weaken, and the Federal Reserve was mandated with the task of maintaining the value of dollar also, and hence it had to protect the dollar, and so it had to take measures that will protect the dollar, and this speculative attack on US dollar therefore led to the aggravation of the Great Depression. The third reason is the rising of interest rate by the Fed. In place of reducing interest rate, Federal Reserve actually increased the interest rate, and this was partly due to the speculative attack on US dollar. And this increase in the interest rate is actually undesirable during this depression. We know that during depression, loose monetary policy has to be followed so that money is available at a cheap rate. But Federal Reserve did exactly the opposite, and it increased the interest rate so that people who needed cash did not have it, and the industries which were facing cash shortage could not get it by any means, and the financial system was starving of funds, and it could not get hold of the liquidity that it required to tide off this emergency. And therefore the rising of the interest rate by Fed is also seen as another reason which led to an ordinary recession becoming a Great Depression. And the fourth reason is that the Federal Reserve did not increase money supply again. Fed did not increase the money supply. Another blame on the Federal Reserve. So all these four reasons are somewhat quite related and to an extent overlapping, but we have to mention all these reasons because in effect these all has some theoretical influence on the economic performance, and so in some way or the other each of these causes led to aggravation of the crisis. So we saw Fed followed a tight monetary policy and did not increase the money supply. Especially the monetarists blame the Federal Reserve for ignoring the importance of liquidity during the time of this depression, and the tight monetary policy followed by the central bank led to a fall in the money supply, and this also led to a ballooning of the problem. And the fifth one is the run on banks. We know that whenever the financial system is facing a crisis, people tend to be very cautious, and they tend to go for safety. And therefore, when some of the banks began to collapse, people began to go to their banks and withdraw as much money as possible. This is called a run on banks. During the crisis, during the 10 years of the crisis, nearly 9,000 US banks collapsed, and 4,000 banks collapsed in 1933 alone. 4,000 banks collapsing in a single year, and this led to massive destruction of confidence on the banking and financial system, and therefore the burden on the financial system was even more. People did not trust the banks with their money, and they were withdrawing all their funds. And so in a sense, even if the Federal Reserve did reduce the interest rate, it may not have the required effect because already the financial system was weak and people were losing confidence, and so banks also may not have lent to the borrowers as businesses were collapsing. So that is another thing, but these run-on banks led to the destruction of confidence on the banks and the financial system in general, and this also led to aggravation of the crisis. And the sixth point is the stock market crash that followed the beginning of the Great Depression. Stock market crash. It is known as the Black Thursday, and the stock market actually crashed on the 24th of October 1929, and it's generally believed to be considered to be the starting point of the Great Depression. And on that, from that Black Thursday up to the lowest point of the depression, the stock market lost 90% of its value. And it took more than 2 decades for the US stock markets to regain the levels that it achieved there during the 1929. Actually, the stock market was in a bubble-like situation in 1929, because starting with 1920, especially after reconstruction of the First World War, the stock market was in an euphoric condition, and it was going up and up in all the 10 years preceding that, and therefore it was already in a bubble like situation. And once the depression started in 1929, the stock market lost value massively, and all the people who had invested in stock market, because of the overwhelming confidence in the financial system, lost their money. It's 90% of the investment being destroyed is not a small thing, and in some cases people might have lost even 100% of the value. And losing this much of value in a few years or in a few months is not a small thing, and therefore again people lost their purchasing power, and it might have affected the demand also. So this was another reason for the Great Depression. And the seventh reason is the income inequality that prevailed in the USA. Income inequality that prevailed in the USA. And such in 1929, the richest 1% of the US people held 19.6% of the US GDP. And such kind of inequality can be seen in countries even today, in modern developed and capitalist countries, or even in countries like China, even in the current situation. But this, at a point when the economy was facing a crisis, only led to weakening of the system further, because this 20% of the purchasing power, the GDP, was with the 1% people, and they did not increase their consumption, or their consumption was not helpful to the economy. They had a limit to consume, and they did not want to spend more. At the same time, people who wanted to spend more did not have any money. So in a Keynesian sense, it led to a demand destruction, and the aggregate demand for goods and services fell. And we know the importance of aggregate demand or effective demand in the Keynesian system, and it led to what Keynes called the demand destruction. And therefore, whatever commodities that the firms produced did not find sufficient buyers, and so the incentive to produce was disappearing, and therefore employment and output fell. And this was another reason which added to the problem. Okay, even now we can see such kinds of inequalities, but an inequality under such a situation did not bode well for the economy. And the eighth reason, important reason, was the tariff wars that started with the Great Depression, because most of the domestic industries in capitalist countries face this problem, and hence all the nations wanted to protect their domestic industries from foreign competition. So all over the world there was tariff barriers being imposed, and the Smoot-Hawley law that was enacted in USA, to Smoot-Hawley tariff that was enacted in USA, was such an example. And not only USA, the countries all over the world began to increase their tariff in order to protect the domestic industries from foreign competition. And this affected international trade. We know the importance of international trade. That point of time, international trade was not developed as much, but still a good portion of GDP was depending upon international trade. And the industries which depend upon foreign commodities for raw materials, or foreign markets for their finished products, faced even a further hurdle. This was another problem which led to this recession growing into a Great Depression. And the ninth reason is the huge liquidity preference that people showed. Liquidity preference showed by the people. We know that again, during times of crisis, economic crisis, people think either gold is the safest asset, or as currency as the safest asset. So they don't hold financial assets. They just uh, sell it and keep whatever cash they have in their hands. So this kind of behavior is not conducive for economic growth, because people holding money means that the liquidity crisis that the system faces is even more, and the liquidity dries up in the entire system, and this adds to the problem with the Federal Reserve already facing limitations in increasing the money supply, and the people holding so much currency in their hands led to drying up of the economic system or the liquidity in the economy, and this also increased the troubles. And the 10th reason is the drought that prevailed in USA during this period of time. There was a couple of years of severe drought in USA, which was known as the Dust Bowl. Dust Bowl, and it led to massive destruction of the agricultural commodities. People began to move to the cities to seek employment, so there was large scale unemployment also, and rural demand suffered heavily due to this dust bowl. So coupled with the industrial and financial destruction that started in 1929, the drought known as the dust bowl, which emerged in the 1930s, added to these problems. So all of these, and you can find many other reasons also, but all of these mentioned things led to an ordinary recession turning out to be a great depression. Okay, thank you.